In fact, there were such strong inroads of this into the culture that it was very hard to get it out of the church. When Paul wrote to the Corinthians, turn back to 1 Corinthians chapter 10. When Paul wrote to the Corinthians, who had essentially lived this kind of religious life before their conversion, he addresses himself directly to this kind of behavior. You have to understand that you can't go back to the old ways. Go down to verse 20 of 1 Corinthians 10. The things which the Gentiles sacrifice, they sacrifice to demons and not to God. I don't want you to become sharers in demons. You can't drink the cup of the Lord at the communion service and then go back and get drunk with the cup of demons. You can't partake at the table of the Lord and go back to the table of demons. And do you remember that Paul, even further in this chapter, had to correct the way they handled the Lord's table? Some of them were gluttonous at the Lord's table. Some of them were indulging even at the Lord's table in a manner of drunkenness. If you look at chapter 11, verse 21, in your eating, each one takes his own supper first. One is hungry and another is drunk. There was so much of this in their experience that there was a grave danger of dragging it in to the life of the church. The Apostle Paul then is contrasting the counterfeit communion with God's with the true communion with God that comes from being filled with His Spirit. So that's the nature of the contrast.